Hi guys, welcome to my reading list for the weekend of the weeks of, I believe, May 21st to the first week of June. This is the post I've been doing where I kind of go through what books I have stacked up on my nightstand to read. I am doing this a little bit early, so there are like 3 or 4 books that I haven't read yet that are on that stack, but I'm doing this like almost a week early because of Memorial Day weekend coming up. I'm trying to get all my stuff done before we leave, because we are going on a little like 4-day camping trip. So this is what I plan on reading from like the last week of May through the first week of June. And there's a lot here. I may not get through it. I may get other books from the library I have to read instead. But here's what I got. So the first one I got is Redwall by Brian Jacques. That's French. I don't know how to say it. Everyone's probably already read this, but for some reason I never read any of the Redwall series. It's like supposed to be with a mouse, like the very anthropomorphic, is that how you say it? I forget what the word is for like animals that are going on fantasy adventures. So it's about mice who like act like people and go on fantasy adventures. It's supposed to be in the tradition of Watership Down, which I also have not read. I got the first 3 books in this series from my mother. She was cleaning out her bookshelf. This is another one of those books. This got popular like right after I was the right age to read this. So it got popular when I was maybe in high school or something, and yeah, 1986. So I was getting like into the middle grade books, and I was probably reading Lord of the Rings if this had come out like maybe, I don't know, 5 years earlier. I would have been into it, but you know, I didn't get there. So I'm going to read that. The other one I have is another first book in a trilogy. And some of these I'm reading because I want to find out if I want to keep all the books I have or if I want to get rid of them. So like if I don't like this first book, then I'll get rid of it and I'll get rid of the other books of the series. This is another one of those. This is Winterbirth by Brian Ruckley. I picked this up when I was in this huge like epic fantasy kick. This is the first book in the Godless World. I do have 3 of these. I think there's only 3 in the series. I have all 3 of these. I'm going to be honest, I don't have high hopes for this book. I'm betting this is going to be a do not finish for me. Just because a lot of these books, like Joe, I think Abercrombie, some of these authors that do these really long epic fantasies seem to be very like male-centric in their characters. And I don't know if that's true for this or not. I could just be totally blowing smoke out of mine. But anyways, so I'll give it a shot. I was like in a phase where I was reading a lot of these types of books, but I got just kind of sick of how male-centric everything was, and all the females, and some of them were just women of the night and like not nice people in general, and I like a little bit more balance. Like Brandon Sanderson always does a really good job of like balancing his female and male characters, so there's interesting ones of each. And I'm not saying this is like that at all. I'm just saying I picked this book up when I was in this phase and I was reading like the first Blade and all these other ones, and I just got sick of it. So that's why it's been sitting on my shelf for so long. Not finished. This is Guardian of Honor by Robin D. Owens. I picked this up because I was reading a lot of books in the Luna publishers, and they are kind of romantic fantasy. That's what that group did for a long time. So I was reading like the Cast and Shadow Cast and that series, which I'm blanking on, by Michelle Segarra, and Luna published that as well. And so I kind of picked this up thinking it might be a good like fantasy romance kind of thing. I haven't read any of them. I have like the first 2 in the series, and I thought I'd go ahead and try to read them. This one is in the same vein. I was obsessed with the Luna publishing for a while, so this is another one of those, The Compass Rose by Gail Dayton. Why do people do these things? Why did I do this? Like, why did I go find like 3 other series that were done by this publisher to just, get, this again is the first book in a series. I have the first 2 books in the series, so I'd like to read the first one and see if I want to keep the second one and read it. This one I don't know why I got. It's called Slow River by Nicola Griffith. It is a Nebula Award winner, so science fiction. I don't know anything about it. I know I probably picked it up when I was in some cyberpunk like sci-fi phase and thought it would be awesome. So, another one I want to get read. This one is Tall, Dark, and Dead by Tate Halloway. Tate Halloway, I'm going to blank, writes under another name. She wrote something called the Archangel Protocol, which was kind of like a sci-fi, like cyberpunk thing, which I liked quite a bit. I contacted her about her books and talked to her a little bit online about them. And she had told me, I'm writing some new books under the name Tate Halloway. And they're supposed to be paranormal, like funny paranormal romance stuff. And I was just getting into reading paranormal romance, which tells you how old this is. This was written in 2006, so it was 12 years ago. So I picked it up because I thought it would be interesting. It's actually not supposed to be a very good book, but whatever. She was told by her publisher basically to write paranormal romance because it was popular and it wasn't the best thing to write. But I'm going to try it out. See what. The next one I got because I was in this like classics books you have to read phase, and this kept coming up. This Marley Me book by John Grogan. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's so good, you have to read it. It's like on everybody's must-read list. So I did pick it up. My worry about this book is it involves pets, and I think it's going to be sad, and I'm going to sit there and cry while I read it. And I don't like reading books that make me feel sad. So that's why I haven't read this one up to this point, and I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. Okay, the next one is A Countess Below the Stairs by Ibbotson. I listened to The White Swan, or something like that, by her on audiobook. Absolutely adored it. Then I read a couple of her other books that I did not adore. I'm going to see if there's like a list of her books in here. Anyways, I did not like, I've read 2 other books by hers that I did not like, but I liked the first one I listened to an audiobook enough that I had like gotten a whole bunch of her books. So this is the last Eva Ibbotson book I have, and I will read it and see if I like it, I guess. This one is supposed to be pretty good, so that's good. This is yet another book I got when I was in my, oh my gosh, I need to get all the books on everybody's You Have to Read This book list. Atonement by Ian McEwan. I don't know how you say that. This is supposed to be a super awesome book. So I'm going to read it. I unfortunately tend to not like a lot of the super awesome books that everybody loves. But there's like still a discounted half price book sticker on here. Let me see if I can peel that off really quick. This is the first book in Patrick Neese's The Chaos Walking series. The Knife of Never Letting Go. See, this is the problem. I'm just not prepared today. Patrick Neese wrote another book that I think I liked. I guess I don't know. But I got this one to read because I wanted to read it. And I still kind of want to read it, even though I don't really know what's going on with it anymore. I think it's like a apocalyptic book or something like that. I don't even know. And then the last one I got to read coming up is Kings and Assassins by Lane Robbins. Lane Robbins wrote Maledicte, which it was a fantasy novel. I just absolutely loved it. I found out many years later that she had written a sequel to that novel called Kings and Assassins, and just never read it. So, why? Who knows? It just got shoved back in my bookshelf and I never read it. So, hopefully this will be a good one. So that's what I have to read. There probably will be a couple library books I get and some other stuff. But this is kind of for my to-be-read list, what I have stacked up to read. So, you know, we got a kind of variety. Kings and Assassins, The Knife Will Never Go, Atonement, A Countess Below the Stairs, Marley Me, Slow River, Tall, Dark, and Dead, 2 Luna fantasy romances, The Compass Rose and Guardian of Honor, Winterbirth, and Redwall. So that's kind of my stack of books I'm going to read upcoming here. I do have like 3 or 4 books left from my last reading pile post that I hope to get through here in the next week. That's what I got. Hope you guys are enjoying these. If you have any comments, let me know below. I will talk to you next week. Bye.